never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Hello, folks. How are you? Yeah, still feeling miserable, if I'm honest. Sorry I missed you last night. Thanks to everybody who called, rang, wrote, text, did all those things. Typical man, I'm dying. Just as long as we're all aware of that, we should be able to push through. It'll be all okay in the end. I don't know how I've managed to catch this, whatever it is, but hopefully it won't last very long. That's all I can really hope for. I've got over the chills and the sweats. That seemed to be yesterday and the night before. And today, at least I've been able to go out and do a couple of things. In fact, one of the things I went out to do today was to try and get some new lenses in a pair of sunglasses that I have. And I wanted to update my prescription because I find myself sort of squinting through them a bit. And I discovered today that to update the lenses in my sunglasses, which already have a photochromatic, well, you know, the similar to this that sort of changes color. It has those sorts of lenses and a multifocal lens at $926. No frames involved. No frames, just put 2 bits of plastic inside these glasses to make my eyes see better. 900. I'm afraid the lady at OPSM got a hell of a shock. When I get a shock, I tend to share the shock, and I could not believe it. So we won't be getting new. We won't be getting new bloody sunglasses. I'll make do with what I got. My God, I might be wrong. I would have thought for $926, you would at least get maybe some new frames as well. Could not believe it. But then she said, oh, look, you're lucky. It's this week. It's 25% off. It'll only cost you $700. Bloody hell. Not on your friggin' Nelly. Not on your Nelly. I mean, shit. Just ridiculous. Been a while since I've been to the optometrist. I don't know. How long have I had these glasses? A couple of years, maybe. My prescription apparently has got a little worse. You'd sort of expect an optometrist to tell you that, trying to upsell you every step of the way. I found it really one of the worst experiences I've had in a while, to be honest. So I might go and try somewhere else, but oh God, they see you coming, don't they, for a couple of little bits of plastic. Last night, I was meant to have Tim Dwyer on. Unfortunately, because I was a bit crook, we didn't manage to do that. Thankfully, he has been able to join us today as he has traversed the countryside to the tune of probably 750 kilometres or more and has arrived near enough to his destination for his big Victorian tour due to start tomorrow evening. Good evening, Mr. Dwyer. How are you?
Hi, mate. How you doing? Hi, everybody. How you doing? I had a good drive. I didn't bump into one copper all the way.
They're the kind of drives you like, aren't they? You know, just cruising down the highway the way life should be. And I'm not saying you should be cruising at 100 miles an hour, but cruising down the highway, long as you keep the big skippies out of the way of the front of you too, that's you know, always helpful.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're traveling in your car. It's not so bad in the bus, they just bounce off.
Yeah, I hit one in this Commodore about a year ago up near, where was I? Up near Dubbo. And I was ticking along and I had a heap of cars behind me and there was cars coming towards me and I couldn't, you know, it had headlights and all that sort of stuff. You just can't see at night. By the time those cars had got past me and I just flicked my high beam on, right there in the middle of my bonnet was a bloody kangaroo, just jumped right into the middle of the road. I couldn't hit the brakes because I had a car up my clacker. The only thing I could do was hit this thing square on, right on the Commodore's bonnet, right? And I'm sitting there and I drove over the kangaroo, and I thought, oh shit, this is going to be bad. And I'm looking at the temperature gauge thinking, is it going to go up? Is it going to go up? Nothing. I finally found a spot where I could pull off, got the torch and had a look at it. And I've got a little dint in the bottom of the bumper bar. Not one headlight broken, not the bonnet, not the grill, nothing. How that happened, I have got no idea, but I hit it at 100k an hour. So,
well,
those Commodores are good, mate.
They're tough cars, mate. They're tough cars. Well, the experience that I had in the bus was similar speed, about 90, 100 kilometres an hour, just on dust, just outside of Denali in Victoria. And Skippy decided to step out from the left-hand side of the road right at the very last. I mean, this animal wanted to commit suicide. I mean, it's just, and it has just stepped out and gone straight inside my left wheel. I pulled up to make sure that Skippy was all right. I didn't find too much of Skippy, to be honest. I think he burst. But there was a little bit of him still attached to my trailer, which I was towing. So anyway, enough of that while we're having dinner tonight.
Anyway, so had a good trip over here to Victoria. Excellent.
Well, why are you in Victoria, Tim? We haven't really spoken publicly, at least since our last endeavour, trying to get people together to come together to try and find a solution. So obviously you're still on the road.
Yeah, mate, we're still out there. It's very interesting. There's an organisation down here in Colac in Victoria called The Collective, headed up by a very good friend of ours, Bill, and his wife, Joy. And these people are very, very active in the community regards to council rates and all the rest of the stuff. And they do a lot of good work. They feed people. They do all sorts of things, right? And anyway, over the last 12 months or so, we've been working on trying to help the people of Colac understand, or the region understand, what's going on with their councils and the constitution and all that sort of stuff. And Bill said, geez, it'd be great if we could get Augusto Zimmerman down here, right?
Yeah.
Now, and I go, well, yeah, it would be. I said, if you like, I'll give him a call. And he goes, what? You can call him? I said, well, yeah, I can call him. And so as it turns out, this was the only weekend that Augusto's got free for quite a while.
Oh, wow.
And he said, yeah, I'd love it. And so from Colac, then what we've done is we also booked this is on, Augusto comes in tomorrow night. A few of us are just getting together, having a chat. Saturday morning, we start at the Bowls Club in Colac. And so anyway, that's all good. Then on Sunday, we're off to the Q Room in Thomastown in Melbourne. Now, think about this. A lot of the people that are part of what you do and so many other people do, we're all over the country. Now, you've got people in Queensland and New South Wales, and they go, well, what the hell do I care about what's going on in Colac in Victoria or Thomastown? Well, you might know some people down here. Now, think about this. Really, all I am is a bushie that's got a rough idea and a theory after reading the Constitution and doing some stuff for a few years. And I have no qualifications. And many of the people in the freedom movement, we have no formal qualifications. And so it's difficult for people to take us serious.
Yeah.
However, I just want to read a little bit about Augusto Zimmerman for those who don't know what an Augusto Zimmerman is, right?
Yep.
Now, Augusto Zimmerman was the head law professor at Sheridan College in Perth, Western Australia. He was also an adjunct professor at law at the University of Notre Dame in Sydney campus. In addition, Augusto was a former law reform commissioner with the Law Reform Commission of Western Australia. He was a former associate dean of research and postgraduate research director at Murdoch University Law School. Now that's just a bit of it. I mean, there's a whole page. Oh, you can't see it, but there's a whole page of what his credentials are. And when you listen to Augusto Zimmermann talk about where we are with our constitution, where we are with the courts, where we are with the parliament, and you sit there and you go, wow. And it lines up with us old bushies that have got a rough idea and a bloody attitude to go with it. And here's and keep in mind, Augusto was tapped on the shoulder by David Hurley, the ex-Governor General, to be his constitutional advisor. He declined.
Right. Okay.
He said, no, I won't work for you. Right?
A man of integrity.
A man of integrity, of great integrity. He's an absolute brilliant bloke. He has got an accent. He's from South America originally, but he's been accredited all over the world for his legal studies. He's written many books. He's going to be talking out of his latest book, which is called Against Tyranny. Gives you some idea of where the bloke's coming from.
Yeah.
And so we are going to have an absolute awesome weekend. Think about this, Carl. If you've got anybody down in Victoria, Geelong, Western Victoria, Ballarat, anywhere through there, we're going to kick off at 9:30 on Saturday morning. So it'll be an early start for people. But when do you ever get a chance to ask questions of somebody of that caliber who advises the Law Society on what laws should and shouldn't do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mate, this is gold, right? Now, here in Colac, we're having lunch. The tickets are $30, but that includes morning, afternoon tea, and lunch. And Augusto Zimmermann. And now we have had a bit of a challenge. Darren Dixon, we all know Darren. Yeah. Darren's mum's had a stroke, and Darren's was to speak in Colac on Saturday, but he's got an appointment with because he's now his mum's carer, and they're coming in on Saturday to go through stuff, and he can't shift it. So
yeah, sure.
But we're a bit ticked about that. But there's nothing like family's got to come first. Must come first. So yeah, but it's going to be a corker weekend, mate. I tell you what, there is no holds barred, Carl, because the Governor General has announced that she takes no counsel from the King at all, and she asks him nothing.
Wow.
She takes her counsel from the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. I think she's got her job ass up.
She's got her job well ass up there. And to admit it publicly.
Yeah, so consent. This weekend's going to be all about consent.
Is there anywhere or anybody or any institution in the old Dart that would take notice or be interested in learning of the fact that the Governor General now doesn't appear to be acting under the King's influence, but acting under the influence of a strange little man who may or may not have been elected by 26% of the Australian population?
Well, it's interesting you say that. We're trying the best we can, and it's difficult, to work within the office of the Archbishop of Canterbury in England.
All right.
Right. Now, the reason we're trying to get through there is that the Archbishop has the authority to hear the King's oath or the Queen's oath, whatever the case may be, right? And so you have to have a certain authority to hear an oath, to take the oath from somebody. The Archbishop can do that for the King and did do that for the King. However, that Archbishop has now retired, and they're awaiting the election of the new Archbishop, whomever that may be.
Right.
Now, whilst that is going on, we're trying to work. There's another office, which is the legal office of the Archbishop of Canterbury, and we'll get in touch with them next week, because what we need is somebody who can take the actual oath lawfully, can hear it, whilst you or me or whomever state the oath, and therefore we would then have higher lawful authority, and we would have higher lawful authority than any corporate government official in this country. Now,
Wow.
let me explain something. Jackie Dundee, with her documents, has done a great job. She has done a brilliant job with her documents, the writing of those documents. And within that, I think what we'll end up doing, I've got a document that we've done. We haven't released it yet because we're waiting on what we're trying to achieve with the Archbishop. But putting the knowledge and the documents together that we have, understand this, that the United Nations, as much as I hate them, they state in their law that all the state members, meaning nation states, have to give their consent to participate in whatever the UN's putting forward. If they withhold their consent, whatever that ruling is of the United Nations does not affect the states, the nation states that did not give consent. So therefore, if consent is required at the highest level, it also must be required at the base level.
Right, okay.
See where we're going with this?
Yes. So this would, in theory, give the people some lawful justification for rising up.
For rising up, but for literally withdrawing from the system. Hang on, my phone's doing its thing. Sorry about that. From withdrawing from the system, because without consent, they're like in today's world, you not that I would know, I'm long past the dating game, but you go out for a night out, and you and your lady friend or man friend, depending on which way it's going here, you think, well, I think it's time we snook under the covers. If you do not ask for consent, you're in all manner of hurt. Now, the government, the corporation, is doing stuff without consent. What they're suggesting is because they got elected. Oh, mate, are you right? Yep, he's right.
Yeah, yep. I'm trying to mute myself when I have these little coughing fits now and again. Sorry about that.
So because they think they got elected lawfully, they think they have consent. Well, they may think that, but anybody at any time can withdraw their consent to anything, according to the UN, according to consumer law. It's got, all I can say is, if anybody's sitting on the fence thinking, oh, I don't know whether I'll bother to go or not, think about this. You have got one of the smartest, most genius constitutionalists that knows the law upside down, inside out, as a highly recognized national academic, an international academic.
Yep.
Now, you don't have to listen to me. You come and listen to what Augusto has to say, and I tell you what, you will be absolutely bouncing off the walls.
Well, shouldn't the 74% of Australians that didn't vote for a Labor government be able to do something along these lines to withdraw from the idea of being governed by a minority who really do not look after the people's interests at all? We know they're a corporate government, and God, all you've got to do is look at their actions to see that they're not doing anything for Australians. In fact, they're doing things to Australians, not for Australians.
Yeah, and this is the whole purpose of what we're doing, to give people an avenue that is, it's not going to we're not going to have to go to Canberra with another 5 million people and be irradiated by their bloody weaponry. We can do this from the comfort of our home, and we can go down to the police station, to the courthouse, to the local member's office. If you're close to your major city, you can go to the parliament. If the door's closed, sticky tape the notice to the door and file your notice. Now, I know we've all served notice before, right, on many different occasions, but never have we been able to do it with and this is coming back to the Archbishop of Canterbury, what we're looking to do is have a lawful constitutional governor put in each state under the Archbishop. Then we would have 3 constitutional guardians to replace what's called the Governor General, because what we have as a Governor General, that is just a waste of money and the biggest sack of excrement I've ever seen. Right,
yeah,
standing on
it's
2
the
legs.
most highly paid for rubber stamp in the nation. Oh, well, it's probably
Absolutely.
not the most highly paid rubber stamp, but it'd be right up there with them.
Oh, mate, and the interesting thing is that having admitted what she's admitted, it's just blatant that what you've got is a round wheel. You've got the executive, the Prime Minister, and the Governor General all scratching each other's back with no oversight of any sort from anywhere. Well, we want to stop that. Yeah. Now, it's going to take a bit, but once we do that, then, but because we'll get them somehow, governors in each state, we can then reclaim the Commonwealth. You can't reclaim the Commonwealth without the states, without the Commonwealth states. And so states come first, then the guardians, then we go. But we need as many people to understand and grasp the concept of what we're doing, that is, it's different to what other groups out there have done, primarily because we're trying to get it done through the office of the Archbishop, who is able to take the oath of the King. And in doing that, we can then stand at law internationally, no matter what. We're not going to be bowled ass up. We're not going to be told that we're just a bunch of rabble, we're sovereign citizens or any of that stuff, you know. Yeah. So we are. But look, come to Colac, come to Thomastown. Look, there's thousands of people in Melbourne who have had a guts full of this place, right? Yep. Now, you can't all fit in Thomastown in the queue room, but come to the queue room in Thomastown. You've got to buy your own meals there. That's and that's part of the deal. We get a discount on the room, and people buy their own tea and coffee and lunch or whatever. So, look, it's going to be a bloody ripper, because people are going to be able to sit down and ask Augusto Zimmerman these sorts of questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not Carl. It's not a lecture where Tim and Augusto stand up and go blah 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 blah. Thank you for coming. Bugger off. We'll do the blah 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 blah. But now here's your chance. Sit down. Ask us some questions. Talk to us.
Is there a chance you'll be taking this further afield than just the 2 stops in Victoria? Mel wants you to bring it to Queensland, obviously.
Yeah, sure. Look, we've got to talk to Augusto when we see him this weekend about where we can steal him for a day or a weekend or whatever, and how we can make the best use of it. This just turned up and he was free this weekend, so we thought, let's go, you know. So yes, the intent is to do more of this.
Crunch has got a question. Could we get King Charles to pull our leaders into line?
No, sorry, Crunch. Never going to happen. King Charles tossed us all under the bus when he was out here. He's broken his oath, so he's out the door with the rest of them.
Right off topic, but Shane says our tanks have just entered Ukraine. I'd expect them to blow up shortly then, Shane. There's look, the CIA are involved in a coup now to get rid of Zelensky in Ukraine. So watch this space over the next week or so. Zelensky is quite likely to wind up dead with one of their own missiles going through the window and Russia being accused of doing it. So yeah, I think Zelensky's on his way out, and the CIA are very definitely behind all that, pushing hard to try and keep their level of control. Or what level of control they have left in the Ukraine going. Gisela, yes, I think you're quite right. King Charles has not been the cleanest of skins that have ever. Well, has there ever been a clean royal? Has there ever been a clean skin royal? No,
not that I know
of. No, not likely at all. Tim, these things that you're working on, and that many others pushing from all sides, do we feel that this is increasing pressure? Are we, I guess, how far up the ladder are we? Are we taking steps a rung at a time, or are we crawling our way up this thing?
That's a good question. And you look at some places and you think, yeah, we're really hitting them here. And you look at other places and you think, man, we've had our ass handed to us and we're sliding back down that pole again,
Yeah.
But what I'll say is this: never, ever, ever before in the history of the evil that has beset this country have so many people been so aware. Now, being aware is one thing, and I want to touch on the next thing. Being aware of the criminality of the government, being aware of what King Charles did, being aware of all these things, that's good. But there comes a day where you have to put down whatever the hell fear it is that's holding you back, and you have to come and stand at the edge of the cliff. Come to the edge and fly. Well, I might fall. We'll come to the edge and fly, but it's so high, I might, So fear, and I hear it all the time, yes, but if we stand up and put our face out there, what will the government do to us? Listen, nothing in comparison to what they'll do to you if you don't.
That's exactly right.
So I look at it like this, Carl. Fear is the weapon that all governments use. Oh, the ATO are after you. Oh, they're coming after small business. Oh, the police are now targeting speed. Oh, the government's coming up. Look, it's fear porn on steroids, and we've got to go back to the legal construct of consent. And even John Locke in the 1700s, John Locke said that government can only continue to govern with consent of the governed.
Yep.
But it has to be withdrawn properly. It has to be withdrawn completely. And that's what we're trying to do.
Crunch, I'll ask this question. I don't know that Tim will have much to say on it because it's not really his area. But Crunch wants to know what you think about the super tax laws and what's happening to Barbara O'Neill.
Don't know. Crunch, I don't have any superannuation because you get taxed earning it, you get taxed spending it, and you get taxed just hanging on to it now. So, no, I have no super, so I don't know.
And Barbara O'Neill, if you want to be a help for Barbara, be in Sydney this Friday afternoon, 2:00 at the Castlereagh Street. I forget the name of the park now. But it's right beside the HCCC, the people that have banned her from speaking publicly on health matters in this country. So you can get along and help there. And I've got to ring Wade from Billboard Battalion. He and Nick will be there, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe hop on a piggyback of their live stream or vice versa. Unless you know anybody who's going and you'd like to hold your phone up for us while we stream, that'd be awesome. Try and share that. One of the other things, Tim, that I always find myself going back to this solution, or this question rather. In any solution we find, we are going to need to have police and military on our side. We have no enforcement arm, is where I keep going back to this. Now, I've been saying that probably for 2 years or longer. Do we feel like we've got closer to getting some form of enforcement arm quietly behind it?
A little bit. There's a couple of different ways to look at that as well. One of the things, we look at the total number of police in each state, and then you've got to take out a third of those for desk duties. And so whatever the number is, a third of them are on the desk. And the other side of that is, now what they're finding is that a lot of the migrant police, whether they're POMs or where they're from, just aren't cutting the mustard. They're just being put on the desk because they're just not working out in the field so well. So think about this, Carl. In Queensland, I don't know what the population of Queensland is, but if we went from, say, Noosaville down to the Gold Coast, right, and all that area through there, there'd be a couple of million people.
Yep,
right?
Pretty easily, yep.
And so if on a particular week, those couple of million people decided they were going to withdraw their consent and hand in a document to various officers. Now, let's say they went to the courthouses, the police stations, the parliament, and the government officials' office, right? State or federal, and to the council office. They turn up en masse Monday, Tuesday. The police, they don't have enough police to do anything. They can't be in all those places because they literally don't have enough. Now, the interesting thing is, we're trying to get across to both the police and the military that what's going on with the government is going to tear their life apart as well. You see, the property held in fee simple no longer exists. Is the word in is what holds your property to yourself. Otherwise, all you are is a tenant for your life. So you can pay whatever you like for your damn property, Mr. Policeman, Mr. Soldier, but at the end of the day, you don't own it. The other side of it is that the insidious taxation affects the soldier, affects the policeman as well. And it's in their best interest to protect their best interest. So I think what we will find that with and the other thing is, we've got to paint a picture, not just the picture of what's wrong, but let's paint the picture of what Australia is going to look like on the other side of this.
Yeah.
Think about the manufacturing we can reinstate. Think about the bringing electricity and gas back into the hands of the people by a legitimate government, and bring your electricity prices back to what they were in the 80s. Get rid of all this lunacy for the clean green rubbish. They're now, a new Ford Ranger is going to cost you an extra $16,000 just because of the emissions it's going to put out. Get rid of all that crap. Imagine a country where you don't have income tax. You don't have company tax. You don't have property tax. Imagine that country, right?
Yeah, pretty good
and
country.
We've got to paint we got to paint the dream and let people understand we want to take them from indentured slavery to freedom. And it's going to be, it's a mind shift, it's a paradigm shift, but it will be done via the letter of the actual law, not the color of law.
Yeah, and that is a big difference, folks. If you don't know the difference, then look up the color of law, and that will certainly give you a very good definition of what you should be looking out for. And that's what many of us suffer under every day when we're accosted by these folks. I I'm sorry, mate. I'm struggling a little bit.
That's all
Coughing,
right, mate.
sneezing, the head's all cloudy. So,
Well, I'll tell you, Carl. I'll say thank you so much for tonight. And what I'll do is tomorrow, when I'm down the street, I will find a get well card for you, and I'll take a shot of it, and I'll send it to you. All right. But
thank you.
There's a bit of an ongoing situational joke, guys. Everybody here. This card has to have a picture of a goat on it.
It's got to be a goat.
It's got to be a goat. You know, high on the hills to the lonely goat herd.
I know. It's and it's going to be a little hard to explain to people exactly why goats are so important to us at this present juncture in point in time. Can I just say it is a lot to do with a very strange lady that associates with Mr. Dwyer, and in her honor, I present you with a goat.
Oh no.
Oh Lord, what a beautiful goat! That's a pretty one.
That's a very pretty goat. We have lots of pretty goats.
You guys
So I'll take a few more pictures of our pretty goats just to keep us all amused.
Beautiful.
Mate, how do people contact this group? There's a few people in the chat have said, how do people get involved with this group in Colac? Is it just a matter of turning up? Is there a website? Can people find out more detail?
The easiest thing for them to do is go on to Tim's Truth on Rumble, right? On to my channel on Rumble, and there's a video up there. There's one with with all the social media pages on it, and the one before that has got the Eureka flag that says more 1854, less 2025. On that video, just scroll down, you'll see the booking links there for both places, but you can just rock up at the door on the day. So that's the Colac Bowls Club, and it's down near the lake. And the other one is the Q Room in Thomastown. The Q Room will start at 10 o'clock. And that'll be a great day. That'll be a hoot if you've got anybody in Melbourne. So,
yeah, well, I think I know Tony's planning on turning up. I think it's to Thomastown. He was going to come to Colac.
Yeah, I spoke to Tony. He's coming. Yeah.
Beautiful man was going to fly me down so that we could come and join you. But I've got so much going on here at the moment, as it turns out. I don't know that I am getting much better at the moment, so we'll just see. I don't want to go sharing this with everybody if I've got something that's shareable, at least, and I'll just sit at home and whinge about it for a while longer, and occasionally you guys will get to hear about that. How much fun will that be? Mate, I'll love you and leave you. I know you and Mrs. Dwyer might like to have a bit of dinner this evening, so go for it.
Yes, we're about to head out the door,
and of course. I will be speaking with you over the course of the weekend. If you've got anything you'd like to share with us from these events, mate, just ring and let me know, and we'll hook something up and be able to put it together. So very happy to be able to help. And folks, couldn't encourage you any stronger to go along and catch up with Tim in Colac or at Thomastown with Augusto Zimmerman. Tim is 100% right. How often do you get this opportunity to sit down with a constitutional intellect like that? And a world-renowned one at that. So I'd be too scared of asking a stupid question. That's why I'm not going. So
no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid thing to do is not ask the question.
Very true. Very true. Yep. All right, my friend. Thank you very much for tonight. And I'll speak to you again over the next few days. Be safe.
Thank you, Carl. And say goodnight to those beautiful, beautiful goats you've got over there. And
I tell you what, you tell your wife if she's not careful, I'm going to wrap one up in a box and send it to her. 'Cause, we're looking for homes for a few of them. I got to tell you.
All righty, good on you guys. Thanks everybody.
You, have a
blessings. Good night.
Yeah. people in their goat attachments. Yes, I know there is a Freemason history to goats. Might be in part why we're having a bit of fun with it. Sorry, folks, my head is just a little bit cloudy and a face full of snot, and I've got the sneezes and the dry cough, which I'm trying not to share with you. There are other things to be chatting about, and if you've been following world politics, you will have heard about the Zelensky operation. At the moment, Zelensky is planning on trying to attack Moscow, which might be difficult because, from what we understand, most of Russia's defense forces are on the offense and moving their way freely through Ukraine at the moment. The CIA are behind a move, it looks like, to unseat Zelensky. They're the ones who put him in, by the way. Got to remember that. He was an actor, remember? A comedic actor. Not a very good one at that, apparently. And then the other big news is, of course, Donald Trump has, through his DNI, that's the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has released a lot more information from the reports, the studies, the investigations that were held back in 2020, and even prior to that, back to 2017, when Donald Trump was elected. Now, you might remember the narrative about Russia collusion, Russia, seemed to come out of nowhere after Trump won the 2016 election. That was because, for all intents and purposes, prior to that, the intelligence analysis was that the Russians didn't have the capability, much less the desire, to go and influence the election. Well, this new information that's been released does tend to throw a drastically different light on a lot of this, and it proves that Barack Obama and his upper echelon deep state team, starting with Brennan in the CIA, Clapper in the National Intelligence Agency, Susan Rice and Comey, who was still the director of the FBI at that stage, and his underthing, McCann, were all involved in meetings as early as the 7th of December 2016 to reframe the narrative surrounding Donald Trump and Russia collusion. And now some of these documents that have been released through Tulsi Gabbard in the last 24 hours prove that this has been done at the direction of Barack Obama. This is treason. This is a coup that has been operated on, not even on a sitting president. This was enacted on a bloke who was just the president-elect, let alone he hadn't got into the office yet. So Obama did get his wish. He got to whisper into Joe Biden's ear and get his third term that way. I think he thought he was hopeful of doing that with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's got a lot to answer for. There is a huge amount of evidence, and I believe more will come out in the next 24, 48 hours about Hillary Clinton's involvement in this particular coup operation. The reason she wasn't a standout and a leader in this coup operation is, well, there's a couple of reasons for it, but predominantly the biggest reasons are that she was deemed to be a risk. She was unstable. She had a propensity to go into fits of rage or fits of glee. And she was, for the most of her time as Secretary of State and in the lead up to her and time of her running for presidential election in 2016, was on a daily regime of extremely heavy tranquilizers. This is the kind of woman that they thought they were going to put in charge of the free world. No wonder Barack Obama would have been able to control her. By the sound of it, all you needed to do was control the supply of the drugs she was taking. So interesting things to come out of there. Frazzle drip Jindalee. Whoa, what will come of that? I don't think the world will ever see Frazzle drip. It is out there. You can get it. I would caution you about watching it. It's not something that you would ordinarily view and get away without some sort of damage to you, I don't think. I mean, I can't even really describe it because it is just horrific. But she needs to be held accountable for it, and so does Uma Aberdeen. I believe the doctor who was in that room is now dead, as are so many people who've associated with the Clintons over time. Have you seen Bill Clinton? He looks like the Walking Dead. So, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever see Frazzle Drip released to the public. We may, if the treason... See, I don't think we're going to see Barack Obama arrested. I don't think we would see Hillary Clinton arrested. They are too high up. Obama could use all sorts of ex-presidential powers that he has to evade any kind of charges, regardless of what they are. The under things, they're the ones that will probably wind up copping it. And I think, judging by the press conference that I saw Tulsi Gabbard give today, I think they're going after the Comeys, the Brennans, the Clappers, the Rices, the McCanns, that whole mechanism inside the FBI that has subverted justice for the last 8 to 10 years or so. So I do think they'll go after them. Will we see hangings? I don't know. Treason is a very serious charge. I guess they could give you life in prison. You don't have to hang. But I think there are going to be a great many people who are going to be very disappointed if we don't see somebody swinging for this. What they have done to this world is unbelievably awful. Sandy, thank you for reminding me. Yes, grab some tickets in the $750 draw. The Donkey Sanctuary are going to give you a donkey pack that doesn't come with poo, I promise. Although if you asked, I'm sure Sandy would put a warm one in for you, if that's the way it works. Donkey poo, good for the garden. But the donkey pack has a whole heap of other really good things that probably less good for the garden, look better on the fridge or on the car or on you. So if you want to get an entry form in, we would love you, an entry form, get an entry in our lottery. Let me just have a look, see how many tickets. We've got 100, just over 100 left to sell at $2 a ticket, folks. If you can go to merch.vofhq.com and click on the Sanctuary 750 link, you will be able to go and buy one or more tickets. You won't be able to buy more than 20, though. Just want to point that one out. There is the link. I'll just post that up into the chat for you now. So, yes, if you could help us out with that, you'll not only help us out, you'll help the Donkey Sanctuary out too. I'm not exactly sure what a bale hay costs, but I don't know if we're providing enough for one a week yet or even more. It'd be great if we could do more, but whatever we can do to help out the Donkey Sanctuary, and that's where the profits of this go, folks. We go to split that with Sandy. We keep some to pay off our server bills and storage and internet and all the other bits and pieces. And if there's anything left, it might come to me if I'm lucky. But there's usually 100 other things it's got to go to before it comes to me. So if you can help us out, $2 a ticket. You can only buy a maximum of 20. There is just a little over 100 tickets left. So please, folks, go to that link in the chat and help us out and help the Donkey Sanctuary out as well. I'm going to go a little early tonight, folks, because I'm going to run out of voice and I'm dribbling from orifices that I don't want to dribble from. But I do want to touch base and mention Sunflower. Sunflower, one of our magnificent moderators, has been nothing but a wonderful friend to so many people in the chat and to me in particular. Pardon me. And I just wanted to pass on my condolences to her. Some of you may have seen in the chat, she mentioned earlier that the other day her stepfather passed away from a turbo cancer. He passed away at home, and Sunflower's mother, who was in care, passed passed away 16 hours later. They had been together many, many years, and I think it's sad but a beautiful story that they would go together. So I just wanted to give you my love, Sunflower. I'm thinking of you. I guess if you've got to lose people in your life, there are bad ways and there are beautiful ways, and I guess this is probably more on the beautiful way of losing them. So thoughts are with you, my love, and you and the family while you go through this. All right, folks, I am going to love you and leave you tonight because I honestly don't know how much longer my voice is going to work. That's probably a benefit for many of you, but it's probably going to be a pain in the ass for me for the next day or two. We will endeavor to suck on a fisherman's friend. Don't know where the fisherman is, let alone the friend. I'll just have to go out on the road and deal with the dickheads, I guess.
You
have a good night.
One ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!